afternoon to you all, and welcome to the seminar on Transforming Conventional Agriculture to Smart Agriculture, the Way Forward, organized by Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry, DCCI. Distinguished guests, we feel honored to have amongst us Dr. Mohammad Abdul Razak MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh as the chief guest. Mr. Muhammad Samsul Arifin, Secretary, ICT Division, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh as a special guest. Mr. Domenico Scalpelli, WFP's Country Representative and FAO's Acting Country Representative in Bangladesh as the guest of honor. Today's keynote paper will be presented by Dr. M.A. Sattar Mondol, Professorial Fellow of BITS, Emeritus Professor of Agriculture Economics and former Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agriculture University, Mymensingh. Today's program will be chaired by Barrister Mohammad Sami Sattar, President, DCCI. Before going into the main event, I would like to request President DCCI to welcome our chief guest, special guest, and guest of honor to the event with a small token of memento. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would like to request Barrister Mohammad Sami Sattar, President of Dhaka Chamber, to kindly deliver his welcome remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chief Guest, Dr. Mohammad Abdul Razak, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of Bangladesh. Special Guest, Mr. Mohammad Shamsul Arifin, Secretary, ICT Division, Government of Bangladesh. Guest of Honor, Mr. Domenico Scalpelli, Food and Agriculture Organization's Acting Country Representative in Bangladesh, and also the World Food Programme's country representative. Keynote speaker, Emeritus Professor Dr. M.A. Sattar Mondol, distinguished panelists, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to you all. I'm honored and delighted to welcome you all to today's seminar on transforming conventional agriculture to smart agriculture, organized by the Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry. At the outset, let me start by thanking the chief guest, special guest, and other eminent panelists for joining us despite their busy schedule. When I first thought of this seminar, many people did not appreciate the importance of it. But in fact, perhaps one of the most important seminars for Dhaka Chamber this year will be this seminar, because agriculture is one of the highest priority sectors of the government of Bangladesh because of its importance in ensuring food security. Under the able leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh is committed to achieving food independence and fulfilling the Sustainable Development Goals. So much so that I've heard that she has taken the challenge herself and has begun utilizing the soil of her own official residence for agricultural farming. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh is one of the most remarkable success stories in the developing world, driven by prudent macroeconomic management. Our economy witnessed an average growth of 6% plus until the pandemic, and thereafter we've been able to achieve a 7.10% growth. With the consistent economic progress, Bangladesh is set to graduate into a developing economy by 2026, followed by a developed economy by 2041. The vision of becoming a developed country has been redefined by our Honorable Prime Minister as the transformation into a knowledge-based smart Bangladesh. And one of the crucial pillars of smart Bangladesh includes smart agriculture, which is indispensable in Bangladesh's economic journey in the changing geo-economic context. This is because the economic empowerment of the rural population, along with food security, agricultural growth, and the development of farmers are essential for the country's future economic prosperity. Therefore, the agricultural sector deserves much attention considering our agro-based economy and overpopulation. Bangladesh's soil is so fertile that a little bit of additional effort can enhance productivity to a large extent. Therefore, we need to build more on research to mitigate the impact of climate change, and one way of dealing with this issue is the use of modern technology in smart agriculture. If this can be ensured, then the people of Bangladesh will never suffer from food scarcity. Moreover, the progressive performance of the agricultural sector will have an overwhelming impact on major macroeconomic objectives like employment generation, poverty alleviation, development of backward linkages of all local industries, which is very, very important, and other socio-economic factors. Which is why it is imperative that we prioritize this sector in our venture towards a smart Bangladesh. Keeping this in mind and prioritizing our economic development visions, Dhaka Chamber has organized this seminar so that it can continue to provide constructive feedback and practical recommendations to the government of Bangladesh for policy and institutional reforms aiming to continuous development of the agricultural sector. Distinguished guests, you'll be pleased to know that the evolving agro and food processing industries has crossed the $1 billion mark, exporting around 700 items to over 145 countries, with Asia, the Middle East, the US, and Europe being the main export markets. Bangladesh is the third largest producer of fish, rice, and vegetables, the sixth largest producer of potatoes, and a top-ranking fruit producer. But there is always room for improvement so that Bangladesh can gain a significant share of the global agro market. Currently, the agro and food processing industry accounts for about 0.22% of the GDP, and it faces a number of challenges such as limited value addition skills, lack of diversification, quality assurance, low awareness of sanitary and phytosanitary compliance, etc. One has to keep in mind that climate change phenomenon will also require Bangladesh to produce new crops and varieties along with the traditional crops. So to address these challenges, the government has launched various initiatives to broaden the agro and food processing industry and has outlined a roadmap for smart agriculture in Bangladesh, We have our secretary here from the ICT division who we will eagerly hear from. This approach involves leveraging modern fourth industrial revolution, 4IR technologies and techniques to improve the various aspects of agriculture, such as yield improvement, sustainable resource management, and most importantly, data-driven decision-making. Therefore, to keep pace with this 4IR, we have to learn about nanotechnology, we have to learn about bioinformatics, machines, Internet of Things, and new agriculture technologies, and have to produce these technologies as well if you want to cut costs. It is expected that this Smart Agriculture initiative will bring significant benefits to all the stakeholders involved in the agriculture sector. We also know that the government is already working on to mechanize the agriculture through multi-purpose rural cooperatives to boost production of food and other crops. But we all know that the transformation towards smart agriculture cannot be achieved overnight, as there are several challenges that need to be addressed. Importantly, there is a large section of farmers who engage in agricultural activities based on their own ideas without the required knowledge and information. These farmers need to be trained, and their capacity need to be increased so that they can understand the mechanics of a modern data-driven agricultural process. Otherwise, the agriculture sector will be lagging behind due to its non-adaptation of technology and limited financial resources of these farmers to afford advanced technology-based agricultural management. Therefore, to achieve the goal of Smart Bangladesh and smart agriculture, it is crucial for the government of Bangladesh to address these challenges and invest in modern technology and education to increase productivity, sustainability, and profitability. Our goal is to achieve a strong nexus between our LDC graduation-led economic transition and essentially to succeed in developing a smart Bangladesh. And to achieve this, we need a focused and result-oriented national agenda to address these challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not extend my remarks any longer, as I know you are all waiting to hear from our panelist and keynote presenter. I am too. So before I finish, I would like to express my gratitude to you all for your presence and participation. I'm confident that the insights and ideas during this seminar will play a crucial role in paving the way for the transformation of our agriculture sector into a smart one. It is through such endeavors like this, like today's seminar, that we can achieve our vision of a smart Bangladesh and make a significant impact on our country's future. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Dr. M. A. Sattar Mondol, Professorial Fellow of BIDS, Emeritus Professor of Agricultural Economics and former Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agriculture University, to present today's keynote paper.
উপরে যাবো যখন এইটা ওকে ভেরি গুড থ্যাংক ইউ Thank you. Honorable Chair, Mr. Barrister Samir Sattar, President of Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Abdur Razzaq, Minister of Agriculture, special guest, MD Shamsul Arifin, Secretary ICT Division, Mr. Domenico Scalpelli, WFP's country representative and now FA's acting country representative in Bangladesh, distinguished panelists, and respected audience, Assalamu alaikum. It's a great honor that a professional organization heavily dominated by business community in Bangladesh has kindly extended an invitation to me to present a keynote. That's a great honor, and I relish. I relish because of 2 points. Number one, agriculture is not only a passion. Agriculture is not also a way of life as it started. Agriculture in the modern day has proved to be the main source of food and nutrition, the basic for any human and animal life. But also, agriculture has proved to be the main source of income and livelihoods and employment for a large section of this global population still today. And I'm very pleased to learn that DCCI has picked up this agriculture and in their own vocabulary now, the smart agriculture as the subject or probably the launching event of this seminar series. So it's a great, great pleasure. What I will do, I will not call it a keynote paper as a rounded up paper. It is a kind of grounded hypothesis which I have gathered through my own work and interaction and my presence in this profession for over 50 years. And I relish my association with my colleagues in the business community, in the academia, in research and in the government really. And this cross ventilation of ideas gives me a set of understanding about how we look at this agriculture or smart agriculture today. So let me begin with my humble presentation, giving you an idea, first of all, that what Bangladesh agriculture looks like today. And there is a process of changes, very important changes to understand any technological transformation in agriculture. First of all, if you look at the left-hand graphs, this histogram, you can see that the average farm size of different countries in this region. And you can see how Bangladesh's average farm size is now only 0.35 hectare compared to India, which has 1.33. And if you look at Pakistan, it's 3.09 hectare. Even Thailand, from where we import our rice and many commodities, has average farm size of 3.16. So our closest farm size is, you can see, is from Sri Lanka, and that is also much higher than ours. The point I am trying to make, that when you talk about smart agriculture, you must understand the structure of farm that we are dealing with in Bangladesh. If you look at the right-hand graph, I have tried to put the so far available data by agricultural census. And if you look at the yellow curve, you can see from 1983-84 how rapidly average farm size is declining in Bangladesh because of population pressure, population growth, or increasing number of farms. How many? Do you have any idea now? 16.5 million farm households, according to the latest census. Really. Probably by now, it was 2018, by now it has gone up to 17 million farm households. And 92% of this 17 million farm households are small and just small. And what is small in Bangladesh? You look at literature, they'll say smallholder agriculture. Bangladesh smallholder means is just 0.3 hectare. So this farm size is also declining very fast, really, because of population pressure on the one hand. On the other hand, quite a rapid loss of arable land or agricultural land for other purposes, for industry, for infrastructure, for human settlement, and so on. So this blue curve, we will look at it, is the growth path of this number of small farms, how rapidly you can see that's going. So it's only hardly 8%, less than 10%, whom we call large farm or small farms. Large farms or medium farm. The small farms are the farms which are defined as having only 2.5 acres of land, according to government statistics. The point I'm trying to make here is that Bangladesh is heavily or almost absolutely dominated by small farms. Average is less than 2.5 acres, but even within that 2.5 average, 82% of these households now are within the range of only 1 acre, just less than 1 acre. Okay, so what is the harm? Harm is the look at this fragmentation, this curve now. It's not only the end of the story that we have a small farm of 0.3 hectares. It is also highly fragmented in scattered plots and scattered around the whole village. This is a slide I have prepared from a GIS map taken from satellite, really, from my own social laboratory in Ghatail Upazila, Kagmari Bultul village of Tangal district that I worked on in mid-90s. And if you look at this, then GIS mapping through the courtesy of my research assistant Mamoon, you can see that's a hypothetical, that how these three families show the scatteredness and fragmentation of their own holdings. So we are talking about smart agriculture on these structure. So that is the message I am trying to give, that it is not only 0.3 hectare in a consolidated block, it's highly fragmented. So movement of any machineries, movement of the farming manager, movement of the working hired labor, or work for, or transportation of transport, or the bringing out this output from harvested out from home, always involves you extra cost, extra carriage, extra time involved in it. So that makes the investment also a bit more costly and expensive. Added to this, Bangladesh agriculture is expensive. Very recently, another very difficult job is the flight of agricultural labor from farming. And this flight of labor doesn't mean the flight from rural areas. They will fly from rural areas. It does not also mean they fly from Bangladesh. They remain in the rural areas, but they have an apathy, particularly the younger generation, have an apathy to work in the drudgerous farming labor. It's hard work, it's drudgerous, and uncertainty and risky investment in agriculture. So the workforce, percentage of workforce, which was 70% in 1991, dropped to less than 40% now, currently. And they moved to rural non-farm sector. They moved to out of village and go to the urban RMG sector or urban construction or anywhere. We call it in-country migration. And many of them are seasonal in nature. When harvest season comes, they come back, they put their hand also in some cases. But they are not full-time in farming. And another part, a little bit skilled or semi-skilled, are the one who do this overseas migration. So Bangladesh agriculture is now challenged by this workforce, agricultural workforce really. And that's a kind of dilemma in a country, that you need their employment, but there is a kind of environment that youths are not interested in farm work. They have other opportunities at the move. So the farm is left out with the elderly generation really. And my own research now, currently I am working on, the average age of these farmers are around 50 really. So another 10 years probably, or 15 years, that these people will retire. And then farming will be left out to whom really? Only a small segment of their children probably, who either will take up voluntarily or won't have any chance to move anywhere. So then where is this opportunity for us really, for farming really? Okay, mechanization, certainly the answer comes to our mind really, and that is the point that's really makes us think about the different options and then opportunities that what we have. And that is the subject we are trying to deal with today. So this slide shows that Bangladesh farming is no longer under that typical farmer that we used to know. My grandfather, my father, my uncle are no longer there in farming. But if you call them farmer, no harm. But come to the point of the functionality. The farmers are the new breed, I call them really, new entrant farmers, who used to be wage laborers, who used to be the landless ones really, who used to have a part-time tenant farmer, now have taken up farming as a kind of main profession by renting in land, sharecropping in land, under a myriad of arrangement we call leasing arrangement, and in Bangla you have hundreds of names. In Faridpur, the place I come from, it's called Shonkorali. If you have a yearly contract, if you have Khai Khalashi, it's just, you call it Shonkorali or Khai Khalashi, it's a long-term mortgage really. Until you pay back, you will be using your own land. So those who do the orchard or pond fishery go for this longer term leasing. Otherwise, the major form is annual leasing system really. You get your cash money for a year and then you are free to choose your own production plan or whatever it is really. That's in a sense a positive signal, but it is no longer restrictive as it was under sharecropping, restrictive sharecropping system. It is now free leasing arrangement. And there are hundreds of names like this, Daishodi, the Borokota, you go to any village of Bangladesh, you pick up the local name for this leasing arrangement, you will get one really. I call them a operational consolidation of farming, a new breed of farm. an entrepreneur, rural entrepreneur who have come, have bought a power tiller or a tractor or a thresher machine or irrigation shallow pumps really. So they have put their machine somewhere, the irrigation machine, and then make up a command area we call a viable functional command area. And within that command area, there are plots owned and cultivated, or leased and cultivated, or rented and cultivated by a different person really. So there is a provision of irrigation, water services, shallow tubewell owner is servicing that water, and then tillage operation you don't have to keep. My grandfather and my father used to keep pairs of bullock really for plowing and wooden plow. It's no longer, those are all in the history. They are now using the services from the power tiller owners. And tillage operation, ulta palta, cross, duita chash kore diye jabe bigha proti, you pay this certain amount of money per bigha. So you don't have to have your own plow, you don't have to have your own irrigation, you don't have to have your own power tiller. Now the threshing, okay, there is a thresher machine once there is the poor person, just a pedal thresher it used to be, now it's electric powered thresher. So service people are there. So it's a contact market really, that you get the services. Just on mobile phone has made it even easier really. People come in a minute. And then the ACI and our friends around Bangladesh have come up with the big one, the combined harvester really. And then people love it. And then in Tangal, people call me it's a Boma machine, or someone call it a magic machine. Why? Because it's cut, it thresh, it's back, and everything is magic really. They love it. The question is affordability. So government is here to give 50% subsidy. Fine. It's not that widespread. We have hardly 5,000 combined harvester. But forget about this really. But we have millions of thresher machines locally produced. It used to be produced in Sylhet and Kisharganj, now all around Bangladesh. Say about our friend in Chuadanga. What is his name? Janata Engineering. What is his name? Good friend. Anyway. So they are making this hundreds of these machineries. So that's Bangladesh new form of production system. So we call Jeffrey Wood of Bath University, emeritus professor there, and myself have jointly published a paper in December in Review of Agrarian Studies. And we have called in our paper this mode of production as a rentier contractor model. It's a rentier contractor model. Rentier is that we, the urban dwellers here, I believe all of us have some amount of land in our countryside. What are we doing? We have leased it out really to someone. So we are the rentier. We are collecting our rents. 15,000, 20,000, whatever, we are happy. I don't have to supervise anything. But those who are cultivating are the sort of contractor. It's a contract. Really. And it's a win-win because he contracts this land for cultivation, pays me some money at the beginning of the year, and it is in his or her interest. Some women are also renting it out. Really. That's the interest to maximize returns over his or her investment. Really. Therefore, cropping intensity is increasing. Therefore, they are investing in high value crops. They are investing in good quality seeds. They are investing in proper irrigation and mechanization and everything, so that productivity goes up, so that he or she earns, so that I also get a larger share. So that's a win-win type of situation really. That's Bangladesh is moving on. Okay, and that is the tricks, the how rice production in Bangladesh is going up. Look at this histogram. It's a rapid growth in a sense. It's roughly 2 to 3% growth really annually. But next slide shows me that it's not only the growth of rice that we are interested in. There is a diversification now. There's a non-rice crop. Look at this. Our arable land in 1973 was only 28 decimal per capita. It has now gone down to 10 decimal, just to reinforce my own statement a little while ago that how farm size is going down. It's a per capita. But look at the food grain production. During the same time, it increased from 140 gram per capita to now 235. So it's how many times? It's over two times really that is increased food grain per capita from this declining land. That's the interesting point. And same is the case with the meat, with the milk, with the eggs and fish. Tremendous kind of growth. And that is because a new form of production system has evolved and technology has favored, government policy has favored. Really. Now this graph shows us the gap between export and import of agro-commodities. Okay, I am very thankful to DCCI officials who kindly, generously supported me with this data from their source. They're responsible for the goodness of their data or from wherever they have collected, but I am very grateful. So very quickly I have run a graph really to show that how this export in value terms is growing and how this import also getting time. Now it's a little bit puzzling that if you look at this blue line, that's how our import is growing up over the years. But if you look at this red line at the bottom, the export is growing, but not so fast yet really. Not so fast. It's diversified, no doubt. But import is even more diverse than this export. But if you look at this gap really, the gap is widening. Gap is widening. So it's not like a very happy history like our production itself that I showed you a little while ago. Our import is going up. That brings us to think, ponder for a while, that how we can minimize this gap. Number one is that, okay, export is one way that you improvise. Our PRAN group, our friend Mr. Azan Chaudhary is here. They are the one really pioneer to start. His father did it. One of the genius people I have ever met really. I met him probably 30 years ago. And now this story is building up all the time. I go to Gomustapur, I meet people, and they say, these are our second grade mango, and we are packing it up to send it to our processing unit. The PRAN processing unit will sell that out there. I was very pleased really. And then the other one, the better one, they are keeping, go to the retail market or some point. That's how this export, they're coming in, is growing up. But then the problem is that you cannot increase your export unless you satisfy our compliance requirement really. That is one very crucial matter. And that is somewhere we have to ask. Unless you meet your GAF, good agricultural practices. How about the freight and then transportation really? Biman or cargo or ship or where do you do it? Even the internal conveyance really, roads, traffic, Jamuna Parapar, Padma Nadi, everywhere you have to work very hard really to do this. Otherwise you cannot go to the export market with any type of commodity that even if we have excess potato, it cannot go to the export market. Minister is very conversant with this, so I feel shy really raising this issue over and over again. Okay, then another way is that you reduce your import to minimize gap. How do you minimize your import? Because our income push is such that demand for good quality food and agricultural products is always increasing really. So what do you do really? Then you have to boost up your domestic production so that you can have import substitution impact. And what is these products are, you know better than I do, but from the gap, when I look at this product-wide differentiation, I have to work a little bit more, then I can see that probably maize is one that you can try to improve and meet the gap. Cotton is one, very good RMG sector, but then there are agronomic limitations. Spices is another one, the ginger, the onion, we have already started doing this. The oilseeds is a very good point really. Now the mustard has done miracle this year. I do not know the prices in the market. I'm a little bit, Yeah, you come on that really. Yeah, no, I have some connection with this production, so I know. Jute hasn't done well this year. It did well yesterday, last year. So that is another level of discussion. I will not digress too much now. So oilseeds, the fruits, etc., etc. Now, the public pronouncement for now let us come back to this digital agriculture. Mr. Chairman, I know that we started late and then I was given an allocation of some 25 minutes or so. How much time do I left with, or any time I stop?
No, thank you. I was just noticing we have about 7 minutes left.
Okay, I will borrow 3 more minutes and 10 minutes, but don't feel shy.
10 minutes is fine, thank you.
Excellent, but you stop me.
We love listening to you, so it's okay.
Yeah, so please stop me. Yeah, retired professor usually don't stop really. Okay.
I will.
Public pronouncement for digital agriculture in Bangladesh is the first one is the National Agriculture Policy, with which I was involved. So very, very clearly mentions this digital agriculture, and they mention also that it should be sustainable, it should be safe, it should be profitable agriculture, and then Ministry uses its major wing, DAE, the directorate, to promote all this initiative towards the digital services which they have established, Union Tattva Kendra, the digital Seva Kendra, the mobile phone apps, and so many of good efforts really. And then secondly, our own minister, Dr. Razzaq, who has published his article on Whiteboard, and it has come to my notice, and I'm so happy to see that agriculture has been transformed slowly from subsistence mode in the past to semi-commercial level at the current stage. Agricultural exports from Bangladesh, a proxy for commercialization, have increased in recent times. So that is another kind of recognition to transformation, to a modern agriculture, and also to export. And as I have mentioned, export is picking up, but we have long way to go. Now, the future source of agricultural growth, it's a global picture. And that this comes from Professor Lauenberg, my good friend at the university, Harper Adams University, London. The message is that if you look at these different years, 1961-70 to 2011 to 19, you can see the sources of agricultural growth very quickly shifts from the erstwhile practice of using more and more inputs, as if you use more and more inputs, you get more and more output. Those days are gone now. Now the balance is changing really, and you can see this light blue bar which shows it's now improvements of total factor productivity. It's no longer the use of inputs itself. It's no longer the Ministry of Agriculture that gives subsidy to fertilizer and then machine, and you put them and then productivity will go up. Good that the ministry has increased fertilizer price yesterday, 5 taka. Not that good for the farmer. They will be be a little bit unhappy, but then given the rice price or paddy price at the moment, it's reasonable. There shouldn't be much of a problem really. But the point I am trying to make is no longer the input. It is the management of the input, that how you put it, when you put it, through a kind of a smart system that is called smart agriculture or precision agriculture. And that is the message we get from this slide. Now some definition I borrow again from Professor Lauenberg of advanced agriculture, and there are many concepts like sustainable intensification, where agricultural yields are increased without any adverse impact of input. We also call it smart farming. That's the point of discussion today, is that is managing farms using technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, like robotics, like drones, and artificial intelligence, and blah, blah. And many of you will know. Shaikh Shiraz is here. It's very difficult to speak before him because he mentions almost everything comes before him, but he is a good conveyor of messages to the farming community. Then our next concept is precision agriculture. It's even more precise, that your fish will be ready to have some feed thrown out into the pond. But now this machine and sensor-based feeder is coming, which will automatically feel that whether or not this fish is hungry. And it automatically releases, because it's a program like this, really. And same with this dairy feeding, really. You know your sensor will realize that when these animals will come to me and how much of this vitamin or any other feed is required. So that's, in a sense, a precision agriculture. We also call digital agriculture. Our ministry has picked up digital agriculture. It's a seamless integration. You don't have any connection, really. And that's we are using. I was very pleased to see our smart agricultural extension officer out in Bhola that showed this digital apps application to a group of farmers really, that how they will know that whether or not there will be rain in 2 days and 24 or 72 hours. And now another soil resources department people went to Faridpur village really to tell people that in their apps really they can read if they have the digital map of their plots, they can locate whether or not this plot needs phosphorus, needs nitrogen, needs potassium. And that's how you can rationalize the use of, and that's precision agriculture in a sense. Agricultural automation, our APO defines now agricultural automation. It means the machinery and the equipment that the agricultural operations can improve their diagnosis, decision making, and performing and reducing really. Now I saw machines really, which can immediately analyze data when harvesting. Now this sensor-based combined harvester introduced by SCI really, shows that gives you the opportunity that you can track the movement of this combined harvester. You don't have to go to the village. You can manage it from Dhaka, and it's being used in Lalmonirhat. Really. And you can see that how this machine is living. Which critical part of this machine is giving trouble? Or how many hours this machine has worked so that you can really have your good accounting of your fuel cost and your manager's cost, or whose field is moving to, and all these things. So that's the function of agricultural automation. It may look like Mountain Everest, but day is coming. At the age of 74, I still believe I may be able to see that it's not mountain. It's possible. Even in Bangladesh, it will be possible. Now, economics of mechanized farming, I am not going in details of that. I have talked about it, so much of it, but the only point I would like to make that these machines are still being run economically, be it a small machine or be it larger machine. On the whole, if you are a good manager, it still can be run profitably. Okay, I am skipping this smart technology. I have talked about it. Some picture. This conventional agriculture, you are all familiar with. Now smart agriculture. You can see these tractors, this combined harvester. Now this blue one is a BAU made dryer, which is being used at a small one at the farmer's level. But on the right side, you can see dryer which are being used by the rice millers really. You can see how this mechanical milking machine really and operated by computer. I think Shaikh Shiraz showed us a farm in Munshiganj. So it's coming. Now smart agricultural practice also, you can see now these devices really run by artificial intelligence, and these are being used with a drone picture, and you can see on this that how this drone is taking picture from above on this pumpkin field, so that pumpkin yield can be estimated really. And that's also now cross-country experience has shown that Bangladesh is in a reasonably good position in terms of approaches or initiative towards digital smart agriculture. The only conclusion I can draw from this slide is that Bangladesh has shown to the external world that given high pressure on land, given this very high land-man ratio, still Bangladeshi farmers have shown the resilience, awareness, and keen interest in picking up any technology which is profitable to them really. That's a very good sign. Bangladesh rice breeders have done wonder. The maize research is coming up. But on the other hand, if you look at India is mini India really. You have drought area, you have the saline zone, you have other fertile area, you have semi-arid. So the smartness of this concept is like this. The smartness is a process, it's not end in itself, it's not one-time thing really. As you go on, you learn and you pick up, you improvise. Bangladesh has done very well. Bangladesh has introduced alternative wetting and drying system for irrigation which saves water. Bangladesh in Barin, Bangladesh has introduced minimum tillage already. In Bangladesh has versatile multi-planter. You can directly do your seeding, and many of these machines are being now artificially run.
Sorry, Professor Mandal, I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, come. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm happy that you have followed my instructions to stop. Right, so that's about mechanization. Mechanization policies are there, but then we have to implement it properly. There is post-harvest loss. Bangladesh is doing also very loss. Particularly, we are still falling behind the storage is one, and processing. One of the key ways to reduce post-harvest loss is to develop this processing quickly and extensively. So what is the strategic choices for smart agriculture? One is this: identify the private sector as the key players for the future smart agriculture. Backward linkage is sufficiently or reasonably developed, but forward linkage is something that we have to work with, particularly agro-processing. Minister will speak on this probably. And then another area that the private sector will be interested to go in for investment is the marine fisheries, virgin area or resources as a part of blue economy. So we have not touched on this yet really. So public sector actions is important that you strengthen your R&D system, both in the private and public sector, and particularly private sector R&D has to develop. They have done wonder in terms of production, but mostly borrowing on the technologies elsewhere. But now time for them is to develop their own R&D system really. They can be even smarter. And rationalize fiscal policy, particularly for machinery import and VAT structure, and formal permission system really. If you want to use drone, then import is not that easy really. You have to have permission from many differences. So these are some of the areas. And then finally, private sector would love to hear from me that there should be easy access to bank financing and bank loan. And that's very tricky issue. Everybody speaks their mind when we talk quickly, but this is something that is a stumbling block for many entrepreneurs. There is a reference, long list of reference to my speech here. Thank you very much indeed, and sorry for a little bit of overrun, but I hope I have at least opened up issues. I look forward to hearing from you and responding to any queries if you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mandal. Thank you for an extensive presentation. Like I said earlier, we love listening to you, so it was very difficult for us. Unless you had instructed us to make you stop, we would, at least I wouldn't have the audacity to stop you. So, no, thank you again. It is important as the message that you've sent, which I picked up, if you were to ask me. One is to consolidate the backward linkages and to strengthen the forward linkages, which is very important because as Honorable Minister said, if agriculture has now transformed from just simple subsistence to a semi-commercial purpose. So we need to protect this sector. I would like to go straight to our panelists because there is very little time. And talking about protection, initially I would like to first invite Mr. Abdul Ghaffur Bashir, who is the Managing Director of Aqualink. And Abdul Bashir, if you can tell us how you're using or how artificial intelligence may be used to forecast any major catastrophes. I know climate change is a big issue in this field, and we need to do that, and I believe you're working with this sort of technology. You can come up here and speak if you want, or if you're more comfortable speaking with the mic, you can do so, whatever you choose.
Thank you.
So Mr. Bashir, who is the Managing Director of Aqualink, please do let us know in 2 lines as to what you do and how artificial intelligence can help to avoid these catastrophes. Thank you.
So I come from a 4th generation of a tobacco company. So we've been working with farmers for the last 70 years in this region, and what we've learned through my experience working with farmers closely over the last few years, what problems they face and how we can basically make their lives easier and business more profitable for both sides. So from our aspect in the tobacco industry, we got into farming in other seasons like Kharif 1, and what we found is like we started manufacturing IoTs in Bangladesh, and we started in a small lab. Now we've ended up getting a piece of land in High Tech Park as well. And what we're doing is building a device called Sensometer. What this does is it connects a lot of different senses. It connects a lot of different senses to peripheral devices like compressors, ACs, dehumidifiers, and it allows you to slowly control the environment in any given area. So farmers are use this for our part for the farmers are like soil sensors, where farmers are able to better utilize what kind of fertilizers, what kind of crops they should grow in their soil. And with the biggest problem farmers face when they're selling their crops or working their crops is they do not get the best prices. So we're allowing them to turn using our product Sensometer to improve their storage capacities. We've also received a couple of awards from the government of Bangladesh for our product, and that's what we're doing right now.
Great, thank you. That is very helpful. So one you said is one of the biggest prices that the farmers are not getting their due prices.
The due prices.
And what are you doing to help them?
So our products are IoTs. They're quite expensive. It's not usually possible for farmers to buy these products one-off and use them. So what's happening is traders, cold storages, other companies are using our devices to better maintain their storage facilities. And we use, by using sensors, energy meters, and controlling peripheral devices, we are able to reduce the cost of hoarding the goods. As in, if you set a certain parameter, you're able to keep that parameter using just our device called Sensometer. So this allows you to reduce cost, and you can turn, like we've done small projects where people have used air conditioners and dehumidifiers, like local ones, to be able to store seeds, products like that, so they don't go bad.
Thank you. I think thank you for your short presentation. I think it's very, very encouraging to see young entrepreneurs like you taking interest in the conventional farming business and how you can help the agriculture sector to grow in Bangladesh. My next question is to Mr. Fahad Ifaz, who is the CEO of iFarmer. iFarmer has come a long way, and it is doing tremendously wonderful things. I will request you to, in brief, tell us what you do. And my question to you is to talk about how you have improved the livelihood of farmers through providing access to inputs, technology, and financial services. Please let us know about the benefits that you've passed on to these farmers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. So iFarmer, what we call, is a full stack agriculture service company for the farmers. So when we say full stack, so farmer needs financing, as it was mentioned towards the end of the presentation. There's need for good quality inputs. Farmer needs to sell their produce, and they need advisory. Like, these are the four or the knowledge, right? So these are the four main services that we offer to the farmers. And the whole idea is to create a one-stop solution, right? As we saw from the presentation, that the farm sizes are going smaller. Now we have a younger generation, a new generation of farmers who wants things quickly, and the ROI needs to be better. They don't really want to spend like their father and their grandfather from dawn till dusk. They want things done, they're the younger generation, the new generation. We want things done in half the time that, our father or our grandfather used to do. So to make things efficient, right, the whole idea of iFarmer is to create or develop all these services and offer these services under one roof, right, in an integrated way, which helps us to also capture data, because data is also important within the agriculture space to create more efficiency. I'll give you a quick example. Because we have the data, we are able to offer farmers access to finance at a better rate, without collateral, without any in weekly, monthly repayment or anything. It's a bullet payment at the end of the harvest with no collateral. We have banks like BRAC, UCB, MTB who are working with us on this. And they're financing farmers based on the data that we're generating. All underwriting is done through that. We have developed a credit score for the farmers, which is probably the first time any attempt has been done to do this in Bangladesh, because farming is not like an SME or any other credit score. You have the farmer as a person, but you also have the farm, the location of the farm, the zone where it is, the AZ zones, or is it in a flood-prone area, is it in a drought-prone area? All this makes a lot of sense, whether this farmer is, could be a good borrower, what are the risks and all this. So what we have done, if you ask the benefit, as that was the second question. So first of all, we have reduced, we currently work with 100,000 farmers. We operate in about 25 districts. We have brought down the cost of capital for farmers by almost 25 to 30%. Right? The second thing, what we have done is ensuring that these farmers are getting the best quality inputs. We work with some of the top local companies, MNCs, who usually go to the distributor and retailer. But what we have done is taken these companies directly to the farmers as well. And the last one is selling their produce. We currently have about 150 collection points through which farmers sell their produce. We move about 10,000 tons of product every month. The one important thing why farmers sell to us, because I went to the farm, a couple of farmers, asked them, why do you sell to us and not to your local trader anymore? And he basically said, price we still don't claim we can offer a lot higher than the traders. We're still not there. But one important thing they mention is you guys pay me instantly. Right? I don't have to wait. The second thing, your weighing and your transparency of sorting, grading, which I know every time I sell to this trader, I'm losing at least every time I sell a kg, I'm losing a few grams there because there's something wrong with that weighing machine. And we all know it. But we just deal with it because there's no other option. And the last thing is when they're selling, right? Every time they sell through us, that data, again goes back to the data issue, right? That data gets recorded in his or her profile, which eventually helps him to get better financing next season, because now a banker see, okay, this guy has done this amount of transaction and has sold this sort of commodities. So that's what we have been doing. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Fahad. Not only are you doing something very, very important, but capturing data. Data is so important these days that the importance of it cannot be overstressed. And not only are you reducing the cost for the farmers, but as you say, you're also giving them best quality inputs. And what is most important is that through your data, they're now being able to access finance, because the credit scoring and underwriting, these sort of risks that the banks that you've mentioned are taking is very encouraging that they're doing that. And that is very, very important. And as you said, যে নগদ টাকার কোনো বিকল্প নেই, তো যে নগদ টাকাটা যে ফার্মার পাবে সে তো ডেফিনেটলি সেটা অ্যাপ্রিশিয়েট করবে। So at this stage, thank you very much once again. At this stage, I'd like to invite Mr. Abu Saleh Muhammad Mahfuzul Alam, who is a consultant for Aspire to Innovate, A2I. Mr. Alam, can you please provide your essential feedback on what key initiatives have been taken by the A2I to transform our agriculture into a smart agriculture? আমরা সবাই জানি যে A2I অনেক জিনিস নিয়ে কাজ করেন, কিন্তু স্মার্ট এগ্রিকালচার নিয়ে কি কাজ করছেন সেটা যদি আপনি বলতে পারেন, আপনি elaborately আমাদেরকে বলতে পারেন, বিকজ এটা খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট A2I এর ভার্সনটা শোনা। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
আমি কি তাহলে 10 মিনিট নিয়ে একটা প্রেজেন্টেশনে
10 মিনিট হয়তো বা দেওয়া যাবে না আপনাকে, বাট আপনি এখান থেকে এসে বলতে পারবেন, কারণ A2I এর যেহেতু ইম্পর্টেন্স এনারা সবাই জানলো, আমাদের এখানে বিদেশি বন্ধুরাও আছে, তারাও একটু জানলো যে সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে কি কি করা হচ্ছে স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ নিয়ে, মানে স্মার্ট এগ্রিকালচার নিয়ে।
Thank you, Honorable Minister and respected guests. We think that the fourth industrial revolution is going to be the driving force for smart Bangladesh and also smart agriculture. We have seen that the vision of 2041 has been written in our perspective plan 2021 to 2041, and one of the vision is to Bangladesh will be fully in tune with the digital world. So based on that, we have recently received announcement of Smart Bangladesh from our Honorable Prime Minister, and Honorable Prime Minister has said that we have 4 pillars of Smart Bangladesh: smart citizens, smart society, smart economy, and smart governance. So in 2020, Honorable Prime Minister talked at World Economic Forum, and in that forum she said that from the beginning of Digital Bangladesh journey, we have taken lots of digital initiatives in Bangladesh. Now, as we have many advanced technologies in our hand, we want to use these technologies for our innovations and innovative activities. And fourth industrial revolution technologies can be assist in our journey to smart Bangladesh. So if we look the difference between e-governance and smart governance, digital agriculture and smart agriculture, what is the main difference between these two aspects? For e-governance or digital agriculture, we have used some digital tools like portal or software for creating some services to our citizen. But in case of smart governance or smart agriculture, we want to integrate some more advanced technologies like IoT, AI, blockchain in our services to our citizens. Another terminology is agriculture 4.0. We know when the technologies of industry 4.0 is being used in agriculture sector, it is also called agriculture 4.0. So agriculture 4.0 can be another term of smart Bangladesh. Smart agriculture. What we are trying to do from A to I, we are trying to, in last 1 or 2 years, we are trying to share the various technology, what can be done through using these technologies to various organizations in the government. And we are focusing on unmanned aerial vehicle like drone, 3D printing and robotics. We see that drone can be a prospective technology for agriculture, and we have recently seen that a person from Dinajpur has innovated a drone, very low cost drone for using in the agriculture field. And IoT is also a very important technology in case of digital and smart agriculture, and we are trying to take some initiatives where IoT devices will be used in agriculture and also fisheries and livestock. Like Department of Fisheries has already piloted a successful project of IoT-based smart fish farming in Norshindi, and BLRI, Bangladesh Livestock Research Institute, is trying to develop as IoT-based smart dairy farm. And in case of agriculture, a prototype has been developed for BMDA of IoT-based smart irrigation pump. Using that, a farmer can run the pump of the irrigation pump of the BMDA from a remote place, and all the data irrigation related data can be available in the BMDA dashboard. In case of blockchain, we know it is very important technology because if we want to trace our supply chain, and from A to I, we have launched a challenge competition, and from that competition we have received more than 50 proposals. This is for developing a blockchain-based traceability solution for the agricultural supply chain and also for the leather industry. And VR, AR, we know that these can be very helpful for educating our farmers, providing training. And now we have some startup companies or startup companies who has the capacity of developing AR VR content by themselves. And in case of AI machine learning, we have a use case. Bangladesh Rice Research Institute has developed a AI-based apps from which a farmer, if take a picture of the paddy, the app will recommend many things to the farmers like yield prediction or disease and pest identification, and also recommendation for the fertilizer, etc. So these are in the prototype phases, and we are trying to develop and scale up these initiatives. These are some initiatives that we have taken from our side.
Thank you, Mr. Saleh. I just have a quick question. You mentioned about low-cost drones and IoT devices being used for agriculture and fisheries. So I know that these are very expensive, at least for the farmers. So is the government doing anything to assist them with getting access to these sort of technology, or how is the government trying or thinking about helping these farmers through these introduction of such machineries?
Okay, in case of IoT devices, we have found that these are not so much expensive, and we are trying to connect with the private sector in our countries who are developing their capacity in IoT industries, and we are trying to make some low-cost IoT devices within our countries. And in case of drone, I have said about a drone made in Dinaspur. It is only within 40,000 taka, and it can spray fertilizer and insecticide in the field.
Wow, that's news to me at least. So yeah, no, I think that's a great initiative. So making even that would also encourage private investment in these sort of sectors from a local perspective.
Sure.
So no, thank you very much, Mr. Saleh. I'm sorry that I would love to listen to you more, but because we have iftar and people are listening on empty stomachs.
Thank you, sir.
We'd like to finish it. Thank you so much. At this stage, can I invite Dr. F.H. Ansari, who is the Managing Director and CEO of ACI Agribusiness. Dr. Ansari, please can you explain how smart agriculture might assist farmers in finding a long-term solution model to improve their farming operations? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good question. I think I prepared my presentation based on the keynote speaker's presentation paper. So I'll try to cover the question you have asked for it through my presentation, but I'll complete it by 5 minutes. Sure. Thank you. Honorable keynote speaker, Professor has focused on the current perspective of Bangladesh agriculture production system, practices, automation, mechanized farming, and smart agriculture. My understanding of Bangladesh agriculture is having two perspectives. One, farmers producing food for family and self-employment. Second, agripreneur primarily for commercial agriculture purposes. I would like to focus on my discussion on transformation in agriculture by the entrepreneur. And in crop and animal agriculture, there are emerging technology available throughout the world. Primarily, the objective of the transformation is to improve productivity through yield, reduction of cost, reach to a desirable economic level. Now, I'd like to provide several examples on smart agriculture, which are already introduced and some are under process of introduction in Bangladesh. In crop agriculture, there are many uses of smart farming. Precision agriculture to monitor crop growth, soil moisture, measuring nutrient level, drip irrigation, hydroponics, greenhouses to optimize the growth of productive crops in controlled environment, vertical farming. In practices, use of transplanter, tractor, robotic tractor, harvester, potato digger, and robotic fruit harvester already introduced in Bangladesh. In fertilizer, there are nano fertilizer, and in crop protection industry, nano pesticide is underway to introduce in Bangladesh. I think through the remote monitoring system using to gather data and the crop growth and the health is already organized. Crop modeling and forecasting to predict crop yield and potential problems is now also in practice here in a limited scale. Agriculture communication and extension system through mobile apps connect farmers and the guide practices and also forward linkage with the customer so that farmers can produce and they can sell it to the customer. Now I'd like to share some example under development in Bangladesh by using Myanmar harvester and small assisted remote SAR system can be improved paddy yield by 30%. This yield sensor can sense and make a yield mapping during the harvesting of paddy, from where it can be easily identify the yield variance due to the shortage of fertilizer. This data will be stored in a central server, from where intelligent drone can take data and fertilize and apply the required nutrition to improve the yield of the crop for the next crop season. I would like to proudly mention that in Bangladesh, there have been many practices used in cattle and dairy farming like smart milking, automated feeding, livestock remote monitoring and traceability. Farmers are connected through mobile apps, SMS, and voice messaging for improved practices. Now I'd like to share one example in dairy farming. Robotic milking is also available in Bangladesh, and it is not only handling the whole milking process automatically, but it also gathers data, detect the mastitis, a devastating disease in cattle in Bangladesh. That is very, very much practice here. In Bangladesh, most of the poultry integrators are using robot for vaccination of their birds, and some of them are also in feeding system. There are several practices that has been using in fisheries and aqua farming in Bangladesh, automated feeding system to provide right amount of feed at the right time, water quality management, fish tracking, and biofloc fish culture. Let me share one interesting example in smart fishery and also aqua farming that is already practiced in Bangladesh. Automatic fish feeders is controlled remote by smartphone and saving 15 to 20% feed just during the crop season. There are several challenges in adaptation of smart agriculture practice, like cropping intensity in Bangladesh is 2, when the power consumption per hectare is only 2 kilowatt. When Japan, the cropping intensity is only 0.7, and the power consumption in per hectare is 14. So you can see the difference of scope, how the smart agriculture can be introduced in this country. Smart agriculture is an initial stage in Bangladesh. Only a small number of farmers are using this. Access to fund, many farmers cannot use these practices. Lack of knowledge and skills. A government extension system still not adopting it, and they need to be motivated to adopt the smart agriculture system in Bangladesh. The way forward, I am agree with the keynote speaker. However, I am to further stress on the following points. Providing financial incentives, subsidizing in farm mechanism can be extended in some other areas of the smart agriculture. Agriculture Entrepreneurship Fund can be created to provide financing support and also the training. Government can facilitate capacity and develop through PPP and ensure smart agriculture practices through government extension system. In conclusion, I would like to say proudly that our Honorable Agriculture Minister is an agriculture scientist. Under his leadership and his encouragement, there are several initiatives are taken by the private sector to introduce smart farming and transforming Bangladesh agriculture. Finally, I would like to thank DCCI for inviting me to talk here. With this, I would like to finish my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ansari. I think from your presentation, what seems very important is that the farmers need to be motivated. And not only do they need to be motivated from a financial perspective by getting some grants or loans, but also from adopting like the technical know-how. So thank you very much. I think that's one point that we need to take back for our policy advocacy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Ahsan Khan Chaudhary, the chairman and CEO of Pran Arfel Group, who needs no introduction, is a leading figure who has established a significant market for agro-based products. Actually, you know that you are branding Bangladesh well when in one of my call-ons with an ambassador of the Middle East, he says that look at Pran, and you've got so much things to learn from Pran that you have captured the UAE market. So I felt very proud sitting there and speaking with the ambassador. Ahsan Bhai, you're requested to talk about how smart agriculture may help your backward suppliers by supporting the growth of different crops and fruits. Over to you.
Samir Bhai, thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to Dhaka Chamber. You know, because 30 বছর ব্যবসায়িক অভিজ্ঞতা স্যার, মানে এগ্রিকালচার নিয়ে যে 5 তারা হোটেলে বসে ডিসকাস করতে পারবো এই ধরনের কোনো সৌভাগ্য হয়নি। এবং সবচেয়ে ভালো লাগছে কি যে আজকে এই মানে ক্ষুদ্র অনুষ্ঠান এবং এর মাঝে অনেক ব্যবসায়ী পার্টিসিপেশন পেয়েছি। আই থিঙ্ক মহামান্য মন্ত্রী আমাদের কিন্তু এগ্রিকালচার পাল্টে যাচ্ছে, রাইট? বিকজ আপনাদের আগ্রহ কিন্তু আমাদেরকে কিন্তু অনেক দূর এগিয়ে দেবে। So, Samir Bhai, I think let's try to see what was presented. I have, Sattar sir, I have read each and every part of this presentation. I think it is wonderful. And আমার কিছু বলার আছে এবং সামির ভাই একটু থামাই দিবেন বিকজ অনেক কথা বলবো, বিকজ এগ্রিকালচারকে ভালোবাসি বলেই অনেক কথা বলবো অন্তরের অন্তঃস্থল থেকে, আশা করি আপনার সময়ের মধ্যেই বলবো। সাত্তার স্যার আপনাকে বলবো, আই থিঙ্ক first of all, the most important thing about agriculture is, I'm sure my minister would agree, productivity, productivity, productivity and productivity, right? So while we talk about agriculture, the first thing that comes to my mind that how we are going to make our agriculture more productive. I'm always very scared, you know, like say when I was looking at this smart agriculture theme, I was thinking about robotics, I was thinking about drones, I was thinking about IoT. It's nothing about IoT, robotics, anything. Sorry sir, please pardon me. When I was looking at the presentation what Sattar sir was making, I agreed with what was coming from the inside of Sattar sir. But when Sattar sir was giving reference of those professors coming from abroad, I got very nervous, right? Because the Sattar sir, that, that is not something Bangladesh needs. Bangladesh needs productivity. I will talk in potato, I will talk in cassava, I will talk in chilies, I will talk in fish, I will talk in poultry, and iftar shumay chole jabe, and I'll only talk about productivity, 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 and productivity. And I would say that I need your help, sir. Again, I saw a wonderful slide that was missed by Sattar sir cover korte pareni. I will try to help you, sir. A way forward with public sector actions. I feel the most important is the government has to take some tough calls. This is going to make the country move forward. Are we a horticulture country, or are we a crop country? Are we going to grow rice? Are we going to grow wheat? If we have to feed a country like Bangladesh with 170 million people, I think time has come when we should start thinking about value-added agriculture, right? So I think that is something very important, and I think, I'm sure my minister knows this better than we do. If we have to feed our country, I think we have to make some tough choice. Answer, if I made some very bold comments, I agree with everything that was said, but now comes to, like strategies for the private sector. Smart agriculture, you mentioned about entrepreneurship. We are entrepreneurs. Like Sepran was a very small company. We transformed into a big agriculture company purely because we were entrepreneurial, right? I know that Bangladesh does not have any dearth of entrepreneurship. And I think if our small people in the villages, if they become more entrepreneurial, and I think if you can cultivate entrepreneurship with that smart, I think that your brother was talking about, I'm sure things will start happening and things will start doing better. What can we do? We can foster better. I think, somebody has some agriculture in some part of Bangladesh. If you can foster them, if you can give some guidance, if you can guide them, if you can work with bigger organizations like ACI, I saw Square is also here, and of course Pran. I think together we can make a wonderful Bangladesh, and I feel that we can take our country forward, and I think things will start happening. I feel that, again, coming to smart agriculture, I think we'll get smart, because Dhaka Chamber has already started talking about being smart. I think we just need to define smart. And once we are able to define smart, things will start happening and agriculture will become more productive. And I think that we will start becoming a better country, and we'll be able to feed our great nation. I would say that, again, giving reference to Sattar sir, agriculture is a business. Agriculture is a livelihood, and agriculture is a source of employment for millions of people in this country. Agriculture is profitable, and if we connect better, if we can understand better, if we can work with our neighbors better, I think we can make our agriculture even more productive in days to come. I'll leave the rest for my minister to comment. I'm sure we'll listen to him more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ahsan Bhai, and thank you for acknowledging that Dhaka Chamber has taken the initiative to do an seminar on agriculture. I think the primary thanks goes to our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for putting us into the limelight of agriculture, who has placed agriculture in one of the highest priority sector. And that is why we are here today trying to do some policy advocacy so that effective steps are taken by the government of Bangladesh in this regard. Our next speaker was Mr. Shaikh Siraj, who had unfortunately had to leave due to some pressing issue at his office. At this stage, I would like to invite Mr. Domenico Scalpelli, who is the World Food Programme's country representative in Bangladesh, and the Food Agriculture Organization's acting country representative. Domenico, you're requested to share your thoughts on how smart agriculture may enhance climate resilience across all four components of food security, which is availability, access, stability, and utilization. Do you think that Bangladesh is ready to adopt a smart technology to transform the traditional agricultural practice?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, Honourable Chief Guest, the Honourable Minister, distinguished special guests, and Mr. President, yourself, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Development of Bangladesh has been truly phenomenal. It's been said already today and many times before. Life expectancy has nearly doubled since the early 1950s. Literacy rates have significantly increased, health conditions have improved, and a sizable middle class has emerged. Despite insurmountable odds, Bangladesh has made truly tremendous progress in many aspects of economic and social development over a short time. Bangladesh has emerged as a global model for combating hunger, and it has obtained great success in becoming a country of food surplus from a country previously lagged with chronic food shortages. Against the backdrop of declining areas of arable land, as we've seen with the professor before in the keynote speech, Bangladesh has nevertheless progressed well in feeding its large population with domestic production, agricultural production. The growth in overall food production has been keeping ahead of population growth, resulting in higher per capita availability of food over time. For instance, in the 1970s, Bangladesh was a food deficit country with a population of about 75 million. Today, the population at 165 million, and the country is now self-sufficient in rice production, which has tripled over the past 3 decades. Seed, fertilizer, and irrigation technologies known as Green Revolution technologies have played major roles in the growth of rice production in Bangladesh. Since there is little fallow land now available, future crop production increases in Bangladesh will have to come from higher yields. On the other hand, the agricultural sector must ensure profitability for produced commodities in order to sustain this productivity. This requires higher yields in association with more precise inputs, managing efficiencies to reduce production costs, more focus on value addition, and minimizing waste during and after production. The future of agriculture in Bangladesh will move from sustenance to commercial farming, no doubt. Bangladesh is also one of the most climate vulnerable countries of the world. Cyclones, floods, droughts, salinity, pests, and diseases afflict Bangladesh agriculture. Therefore, future sustainable agriculture will need to continue looking into the usage of resilient technologies to combat climate change, including climate-responsive modeling for forecast-based financing and weather insurance. The next generation of agriculture will be smart agriculture, as we're talking about today, representing a fundamental change in the way we live, work, and relate to one another. Technological advances are merging the physical, digital, and biological spheres to create a new epoch in human development that will bring immense opportunities as well as some serious threats. Nations, organizations, and policymakers face a tipping point as the speed and depth of technological change redraws our understanding of how to create value for economies and people. Smart agriculture is a fairly new term, and the majority of farmers and other stakeholders are not so familiar with what exactly stands behind this term. The ultimate goal of this approach is increasing the quality and quantity of agricultural productivity, while optimizing the human labor used. Nanotechnology, precision farming, artificial intelligence, these have all been mentioned, will be increasingly accommodated into smart farming, together with the Internet of Things. The country would need smart practitioners to fully implement smart agriculture. Development of human capital will be the key for future agriculture. Bangladesh's greatest strength is indeed its large, young, working age population, which is greater than the number of dependents in this country. The challenge is how to invest in this country's young women and men on quality education and skills in order for them to reap the benefits. The young women and men of Bangladesh need to be well connected with businesses, industries, and entrepreneurship to help them understand how the real world works and what type of skills they need. Bangladesh has planned to develop the country as Smart Bangladesh by 2041. Smart agriculture will play a key component of Smart Bangladesh, and what is required to fulfill that country's dream is action right now to develop the capacity to materialize this great ambition. A strong knowledge hub would also be needed to build up the capacity development. International organizations such as the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization are committed to supporting the development of this new, exciting phase of Bangladesh's agriculture sector. In conclusion, I'll express my profound gratitude to the DCCI for inviting FAO to this forum. Congratulations and best wishes for its success.
Thank you, Domenico. I think you rightly pointed out that the next generational shift is to smart agriculture by introduction of various technologies using nanotechnology, and what you've mentioned, which I've written down, is smart practitioners. And for that, we need to invest in the development of human capital. And that is very, very important. At this stage, I'm just going to take 2 to 3 questions or comments from the floor. Please be very precise. I beg apology in advance that I cannot entertain everyone's requests, but just 2 to 3 comments, please. Please introduce yourself, and please keep your comments. Yes, please, yes. Hey, Nonake, the mic then. I can ask the button if you can, yeah, if you want. Please keep it limited to 1 to maximum 2 minutes, please. Okay. Thank you.
I'll just make my comment.
An introduction, please.
So I am Dr. Yusuf Akhon, and I have just assumed office as the Director of Research in Bari, and thank you, sir, for appointing me to that position. So what I'm going to say that we have talked about IoTs, and we have talked about drones and combine harvesters and all those things, but center of all those things is the plant itself, and that comes from a small seed. So we need a smart plant for that. And to have a smart plant, what does it mean to have a smart plant? It means that all the technologies and high tech should be built into the seed itself. And when we plant that seed and the seed grows, the technologies will start working. And to have that smart plant in the country, to have our in-house capacity to develop that plant, we need to have smart people who will develop these smart plants. So I think our most important thing today would be to develop smart people and keeping them within the country. That is the retention of smart people in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please come and introduce yourself, and keep your comments within 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, to give me floor. Thank you, today's chief guest, Dr. Abdur Razak MP. I think you came in a seminar in Dhaka Chamber some 17 years before, and you was expert in that seminar. I remember from that you. So my question is very simple to you all. Today's keynote presenter, Dr. M.S. Sattar Mundal, has pointed out very correctly, but I would like to ask you for being a smart Bangladesh, we need also a smart grower. But I think that in the main thing is the transportation. We grow the product, but it will take much time to take it into the Dhaka. There is no multi-track system. And in the long run, most of the perishable item goes in vain, and ultimately the product's cost going high. So my request is that we cannot use our railway. There is no luggage van into the railway. I saw into the India from Mumbai, the main thing from the Nasik, they supplied all these things to the Mumbai, and Mumbai city, the fisher, the milk carrier, all these things comes from Nasik, and in each and every train there is a luggage van, and they give the subsidized rate to those people who carrying these things into the Mumbai city. As a result, the people of the Mumbai inhabitants take in the cheapest price these all essential commodities. So my request would be that the government should take in this measure in this regard. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I invite Mr. Saifuddollah to make some comments? Please introduce yourself and keep your comments limited to 1 to 2 minutes, please, or questions.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much, honorable guest, chief guest and all. My question will be to the ministers, that is like, we are trying to improve overall agriculture through smart farming and all. So in regards to smart farming, what sort of government policies the government is looking to implement, especially in terms of agro-insurance, agro-financing and all. Because in terms of agro-financing, what we have seen is there's a lot of crowdfunding coming in. and there is no proper policy in that. So is there any policy that government will help us to implement so that we can encourage crowdfunding to come in? Because that is something which we see is like there's no policy there. Because I think Fahad will agree with me on that point, because we tried with crowdfunding and all, but there is no policy in order to protect the investors coming in and also the farmers also. So I just want to understand what will be our government's implementation and overall policies way forward, along with insurance as well. If crop insurance is there, because there are a lot of things which we need to consider, for example, the weather and all. But we also need to protect the farmers. So we also need to understand what will be the better policy the government can help us to implement proper insurance policies. Thank you very much.
Good. These are very important questions, something which I see our Honorable Chief Guest is taking note of. So hopefully it'll go back to right place. At this point, can I invite our director? Yes, please, you come then. Please keep your comments, and then we'll have a last question, and then we will close it.
Oh, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Well, smart agriculture.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh, Syed Muazim Hussain. I'm the director of the BCCI, and also the former director of Dhaka Chamber.
No, for the guests.
Okay, so for smart agriculture we are talking. Well, smart farmer is needed, no doubt, and smart agriculture also we will make. Everything production is smartly we make, but question of marketing, question of wastage recovery, how can we do? Honorable Minister is here. Just I have simple things to refer to him. We have so much production of the agriculture and fruits, but we have no proper storage, transportation, and marketing. In this respect, I just looking to the government whether they have any policy to make a multi-purpose cold storage, mini cold storages in every market and every grower's area, whether it is possible. Because without this, Indian government given 6,000 crores taka for this sector and given a 50% subsidy who is making the multipurpose cold storage. So Honorable Minister, can you please look into this? At least 35% of our production is a wastage. So if you can save 10%, 20%, it is a big thing for Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our last question is, comment is from one of our board directors, Mr. Tala. Please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Malik Talha. I'm a director of Dhaka Chambers, also a director of United Group. In fact, the gentleman who just made the comment right now, I think he covered part of my question. I think one of the things that we miss out on is, because of the advancements in research work done by our various agricultural research institutes, as well as our good farming practices, the supply side is becoming less and less of an issue. So our production has gone up drastically over the last decade or so. The bigger question right now is what steps are being taken to, first of all, preserve the production items produced. Second, to immediately process that items. So which includes beyond basic processing, what else are we doing to finish these products? And third is beyond just transportation, which are the avenues through which we are retailing and marketing these products. So are there proper policy guidelines as well as concepts that we are working on right now which aims to solve these as well? Because at the end of the day, if you're just increasing the supply without actually considering all these other forward linkage steps, then this is actually not the best way to move forward, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm still young. I can stand up really. Thank you. Thank you. No, I'm not going to give any credible answers to these questions or queries, but I appreciate. Thank you very much indeed. First of all, I have not been able to take all the points on notes, but few things. One is this smart plant, smart seed comment. Really, I love very much. Really, I agree, and so I do not know of any device really which can qualify any smart plant or whether or not the seed is smart. But the requirement for this smart seed or smart plant is the basis of smart agriculture. I agree with you really. My elder brother, Dr. Janal Abidin, is here. He is in the rice sector, so he might be able to throw some light on that really. But I agree. Smartness in raising seed and seed plant. And that links is with the retail seed dealers and now the seedling traders also in the countryside and sapling sellers in the plant nursery. One of the things that BAU Mymensingh really did in the last 30-40 years is to train these private sector plant nursery owners really. My salute to them really, that they need and these kind of messages for technological uptake for plant nursery. But second point is, yes, for many years we have been talking about the transportation system for shifting goods from one place to another. And it's $1 million question, why train services in Bangladesh is not going to that similar speed really? I don't have the answer, nor am I trying to do anything. But then fixing up the luggage van in the train for transporting goods is a good thing that probably government may think of. Agricultural financing, if you talk about the policy, I don't think Bangladesh is one of the countries that is not only self-sufficient in our rice production. Bangladesh is also self-sufficient in producing policies, really. It's a very, very prolific producer of policies and books and volumes. You go to the planning commission, then everything. I myself was a part of this process as a member of planning commission really. So we are very good at doing that. What I am really talking, if you pick up any page from any planning document, then you will be very impressed. Important is that financing agriculture is a gray area yet really. There is always a high demand, but I would think that policy is also there that Bangladesh Bank declares these low interest credit for this spices production, for the other things, but still when I go to the forums, they say, oh, we don't get any credit, any loan, because the institution through which this loan is channeled is banks really. Probably there are in their own mechanisms or own operational procedure, there should be some sort of room or spaces created so that this investor, the young investor, can go very easily and feel comfortable and can engage in discussing their portfolios so that this institution can be more friendly. So there is a mind change game play.
Thank you.
They are also in that. And then marketing storage, yes, I have mentioned that very well really. But why should it be only in the public sector? I would like to see this private sector, the vibrant private sector, to come up with establishing this multi-purpose cold storage, and then you go to the bank and ask for money really. That's something I would like to see. Agro-processing, yeah, Asan Chaudhary repeatedly says that in order to achieve that goal of productivity triple, productivity triple, agri-processing, or the role of emerging food sector, food industry in Bangladesh is the tomorrow's agriculture, and that is this game is, nexus is there. Tomorrow's agriculture is tomorrow's food industry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Manda. I'd like to invite at this stage our special guest, Mr. Shamsul Arifin, Secretary, ICT Division, Government of Bangladesh. So the question to you is that how smart agriculture can assist our farmers to increase their output, and what are the existing challenges in bringing smart technology to our marginal farmers?
Thank you, Barrister Samir Sattar. Before going to give your questions answer, I would like to give thanks to the DCC for arranging this smart discussion today. The transforming conventional agriculture to smart agriculture, the way forward. Our Chief Guest, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Dr. Mohammad Abdul Razzaq, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Government of Bangladesh, distinguished guest, and the keynote speaker, Professor Emeritus Dr. M.S. Saptar Mandal, and also our distinguished guest, Mr. Domenico Scalfi, World Food Programme's country representative and FAO's acting country representative in Bangladesh. And ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Your question is how?
You can give your remarks. That is fine.
Okay.
Overall.
Thank you. Today, I would like to talk to you about the need for transforming conventional agriculture to smart agriculture. You know, agriculture is one of the oldest and most important human activities. It has been the backbone of human civilization since the beginning of time. However, conventional agriculture is no longer sufficient to meet the growing demand for food, fiber, fuel in the world. A smart agriculture is the future of farming. It involves the integration of advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and big data analytics into traditional farming practices. A smart agriculture has the potential to revolutionize the way we grow, produce, and distribute food. One of the key benefits of smart agriculture is its ability to optimize crop production through the use of sensors, drones, and other advanced technologies. Farmers can monitor the soil moisture, nutrient levels, and other vital parameters that affect crop growth. This information can then be used to adjust the amount of fertilizer, water, and other inputs that are applied to the crops. As a result, farmers can achieve higher yields with less waste and lower cost. The smart agriculture also has the potential to enhance sustainability by reducing the use of pesticides and fertilizers. Smart agriculture can help to preserve soil health, protect water resources, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, by using precision agriculture techniques, farmers can reduce the amount of land required for agriculture, which can help to reduce deforestation and biodiversity loss. Furthermore, smart agriculture can enhance food security by using advanced technologies to monitor and manage crops. Farmers can ensure that their harvests are more predictable and reliable. This can help to reduce the risk of food shortages and price spikes that can result from weather-related events, pests, or other factors. The transformation of conventional agriculture to a smart agriculture is not only necessary but also imperative. Smart agriculture has the potential to optimize crop production, enhance sustainability, and improve food security. However, for this to happen, farmers, policymakers, and other stakeholders must work together to embrace these technologies and promote their adaptation on a larger scale. Only then can we ensure a sustainable and secure future for our food production. We would like to facilitate the private sectors on all the aspects from our government. And I did not find any female participation today. No question, no participation. So we can say that why this happened. I think that they also come forward. Thank you very much. Jai Bangla. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much. Actually, there were quite a bit of females there who wanted to ask questions, but due to time constraints, I could not. I'm so sorry once again. The moment that we've been waiting for to hear from our chief guest, Dr. Mohammad Abdul Razak, MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Sir, you have patiently listened to us for a long time. Thank you so much. We would like to hear your esteemed comments regarding the whole seminar and the way forward for Government of Bangladesh.
For today's seminar, special guest who has just finished his speech, Mahmoud Shamsul Arifin, Secretary ICT Division, Government of Bangladesh. While I was Food Minister, Mr. Shamsul Arifin was my PS, personal secretary. And still I am Minister, he has promoted to the post of secretary and special guest. We can equate secretary and minister almost. I do appreciate, I feel proud. He has gone to such positions by dint of his outstanding career and devotion in his service. I feel very good about it. Guest of honor, Mr. Domenico Scalpelli, Country Director WP in Bangladesh. Keynote speaker, good friend of mine, Dr. M.S. Sattar Mandal. He is an eminent agricultural economist of Bangladesh, and we have been working together for quite long. Host of the event, who is nicely conducting this seminar. I am deeply impressed. I think it's the first time I meet him, and it's an opportunity to come across such a talented future generation. I was a freedom fighter, I fought in Liberation War, and we always dream for true Golden Bengal, who is Bangabandhu showed us, Bangabandhu inspired us. And I believe that sometimes I feel very discouraged, very frustrated that we fought in Liberation War, we wanted to sacrifice, even we are motivated to sacrifice our life for a prosperous Bangladesh. But we could not achieve that. Why we could not? Always I blame myself. That is our failure. But when I see talented young generation, I feel again encouraged that no, I should not be frustrated. We have prospect. There are people, there are young generation who are quite smart, and they really can make Bangladesh, smart Bangladesh, which goes with today's agenda. So Barrister Mohammad Samir Sattar, I knew his father. He was not my friend, but I knew him. But some of my good friends, they were very close to his father. He was an eminent leader in trade and industries, and also He was a eminent politician in Bangladesh. Being minister, he also contributed a lot. Distinguished panelists, they gave their views in very brief, short, but everybody was very smart in presenting themselves. Friends from the media, always I feel very good with media. Today's title of the seminar, Transforming Conventional or Traditional Agriculture to Smart Agriculture, the Way Forward. Our keynote speaker, he tried to cover most of the point relating to transforming traditional agriculture to modern agriculture. He also showed us way forward, how we can do it. Well, I feel very honored, quite honored, having opportunity to be chief guest on this important seminar. And it's my opportunity to exchange ideas, views, and also upgrade myself. When they are talking about smart agriculture, they talked about artificial intelligence, robot, nanotechnology, biotechnology, all advances of the sciences. So it's an opportunity to know more from the younger generation. I sincerely thank Dhaka Chamber for inviting me as a chief guest. I had opportunity to attend some of the events of DCCI while there are still your office in Motijil, same building. Yeah. So I thank them for organizing this important seminar. Bangladesh is an agricultural country. We know our economy, our culture, our politics, all are evolved centering agriculture. And it still is the key driver for our overall economic development. We always say that overall economic development emanates from agriculture. It contributes about 12% of our GDP. It employs 38% of our labor forces. It ensures our food security, that provides us food to eat. And also it supplies raw materials for our industry. We know that contribution of agriculture is declining in GDP, but if we consider the volume, it's rising. In few years ago, it was about $32 billion. Now it stands at more than $52 billion out of $450 billion of our GDP for entire our economy. The volume of contribution of agriculture is increasing. However, I believe its importance will remain because to ensure food security, we cannot be dependent on others. You know, contribution of agriculture less than 2% in Japan, but their subsidy to agriculture is more than 2% of GDP. But still they don't like it. America always insists that from California we can supply you everything, fruits, vegetables, rice, whatnot. But Japan would tell that we didn't forget the nightmare of Second World War. So we have to, at least food we have to produce from our soils, from ourselves. So agriculture will remain, it will ever remain important sectors of our economy. In overall economic growth, we have been doing very good, very impressive. It is being appreciated at global level in many seminars, workshops, conferences, and so on. In some cases, Bangladesh is a reference country, and they consider we are kind of role model in overall economic development of the country. We have been LDC, least developed country. Recently, has assessed us to be, and the thing we qualify to be developing country. World Bank has assessed us as a low middle income country. We have been targeting to achieve all the SDG goals, which requires that we will be a higher middle income country with $5,000 to $6,000 per capita income. Then also our government has set a target that we want to be prosperous country, developed country by 2041 with more than $12,000 per capita income. I strongly believe if we are on track, if we can keep up our effort, we should be developed country before 2041. It's possible. Many international forum has said that Bangladesh 35th largest economy of the world, and in next 15 years we would be 25th largest economy. All sounds very good. In achieving social indicators, mostly was included in MDG, Millennium Development Goal. We are at the beginning, 1990, in all social indicators were much behind of South Asian countries. And we are fortunate, that at the moment, in terms of per capita income, we have surpassed India. While India had $1,800 per capita income, we had per capita income less than $600. Now we have $2,824, and India just behind us. Again, poverty level, we had poverty 40%. Yesterday's statistics is from Household Expenditure Survey, it's 18%, 18. It was 20, another 2% has been reduced. Again, child and mother mortality rate, enrollment to school, the mortality rate of under 5 children. In all indicators, we are doing very good. And it is being recognized, acknowledged by different international forums. Most of them are assessed by organizations like UNICEF or World Bank or, different organizations. And then what is the contribution of agriculture? How smart agriculture can help to accelerate the pace of development to achieve all our targets. In 2008, we pledged to the nation through our election manifesto 2008 and our vision document 2021 that we will be achieving all the MDG goals latest by 2017. We will be self-sufficient in rice, particularly cereal, by latest 2015. We said we will bring down our poverty to half. We, as I said, that all targets we have achieved. And we are very much on track on achieving SDG goal, 17 goals. Out of 17, about 7, 8 relates to agriculture, to bring down poverty, to ensure food security, and to provide nutritious food, balanced food, and safe food. Number 1 and 2. Number 3 is health. Health is also goes with good food, nice food, nutritious food. So those are our achievement, and we are very much on track on SDG goals. It was recognized by UN year before last year, and our Honorable Prime Minister was honored for that by Columbia University and UNO together awarded her, and prize was handed over in Columbia University campus. Eminent economist who may get a Nobel. While he was handing over this award to Honorable Prime Minister, she had a very good comment. She said that Sheikh Hasina is a jewel in the crown. That's what Jeffrey Sachs said. At the global level, we are highly appreciated, and everybody speak very high up, they make very good comment. Just after liberation, many economists from Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, MIT, they said Bangladesh may not survive as an independent country. May not survive. Also they said if survive, you will ever dependent on foreign aid. You know, at the moment we get only 2% of our budget from foreign aid, foreign grant, foreign assistance. And again, we are self-sufficient almost in food. They said it's a bottomless basket. Now they are saying Bangladesh has shown the pessimist world, Bangladesh no longer is a basket case. And agriculture, we suffered many semi-famine situation, even few years ago. I can tell you, in last 12, 13 years, nobody died from starvation. There was not a single report in any electronic and print media that anybody died from starvation. So that's the overall situation, and agriculture, how it contributes for overall economic development. We want smart agriculture means agriculture with higher productivity, with more profit. It means that it's a kind of slogan that smart Bangladesh, smart agriculture. But essence is that we want, as one said, that with more productivity, more profit, more income for the farmer. That's why in our election manifesto in 2018, we have identified few prioritized areas. Among them, one is we want to ensure food security and nutritional and safe food. And to achieve that, we need modern agriculture and commercial agriculture and profitable agriculture. For modern agriculture, we need mechanized agriculture. As you said, that mechanization, but to get precision, to get good result, you need mechanization. To reduce the cost of production, you need mechanization. These days, cost of labor is rising, and we have to reduce the cost. Farmers, he told keynote speaker very nicely, toiling masses, toiling farmers. So there, if we go to use, it's not mechanized, only we know that our plowing is mechanized, and these days they are using threshing machine. Harvesting, transplanting, still it is manually done. But we can see that very good machines are being used for harvesting, for packing and so on, winning. That's the good sign. But what government is doing? At policy level, we have prepared a policy called Policy for Mechanization. And we said that we will provide, government will give assistance, will support. And we are giving that. 3,000 crore taka project. We are giving, as you mentioned, 50 to 70% subsidy. If a combine harvester costs us $3,000, we give $1,500. For unfavorable area like coastal area, Howard or hill tract, we give 70%. That's $2,000. And 53 agricultural implements have been listed. Those will get they will get the subsidy. And already we have started to give it, and it's making good impact. Robot and artificial intelligence, of course it will, for precision agriculture, to get maximum output. Always we blame either farmer or our development workers or ourselves, that there is a big gap between potential yield in ideal condition and yield in the farmer's field. We have to reduce this gap. A variety may have potentiality of, for example, maize, may have potentiality of yield 12 ton, but actually farmer gets 7 ton, 8 tons, or maybe less than that. But few days ago, I heard from one of my friends. He said that he got 15 tons. Our agroclimatic condition, it's a C4 plant, you know, physiologically very efficient, and he got 15 ton maize. Unbelievable. And he said, I made 1,70,000 taka for selling his maize. He's a city man, but leased his land and got such good yield. So there are variation, but average yield, we have to, average productivity should be increased. And that's possible. So I would, at the moment, we don't see much drone we can use, but we are discouraging already for using chemicals like herbicides, pesticides, and so on. We are encouraging people to use organic agriculture, use biotechnology for a developing variety who will be resistant. We are encouraging for IPM and other methods for controlling insect pests. But I know it has the use of drones and other robot. We are not at that stage, but I like the spirit, smart agriculture. But already Japan and other countries, they are using a robot. Even India, they have been using as well. So we cannot remain behind, we have to be competitive. And I assure you, we'll provide, as we are giving support for mechanization, we also will give for automatization. It's not robot, it is automatization. We'll support automatization. That has to be. We are talking about exporting agricultural commodities. We want to go global market. With just domestic market, we cannot make agriculture profitable. That should go side by side. Biomodal, we should have a biomodal policy, biomodal mode of marketing. For that, we need, we have to go in the international market. It's almost neighbor country. Thailand is not too far, Vietnam. They have huge share in the international market. Once I was in Thailand to see CP, that poultry processing and poultry industry. They said that they make $500 million for exporting poultry, one company. I said several times that Vietnam make $4 billion exporting cashew nut. It's not only their product. They import from African countries, they add value to it and sell it to the international market. 60% imported raw materials, raw cashew nut, fresh cashew nut, and they process it. And they are the largest exporter of cashew nut. Then coffee. They are the second largest exporter of coffee now, after Brazil. They ranked second. So those are the prospects. If we want to go international market, then we have to go for smart agriculture. We have to use latest technologies. That's the important. Again, how we make agriculture commercial. Let me say about what plan we have undertaken. We are trying to bring investment. And for investment, we have, government is providing number of incentives. We have created number of facilities. You know, one can invest, he can 100% owner, he can take the profit back home and so on. Taxation, duty, we give 20% 20% incentive for agricultural export. Those are there. Apart from that, we have planned that what will be the future focus of agriculture ministry for investment. We said for next 4 or 5 years we need about $2 billion. 1.7. We identified 4 areas. Number 1, agro-processing. Number 2, as you mentioned, everybody, most of the speaker mentioned it, panelists and that we need good transport to save for fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. That means that how we can increase the shelf life without hurting, without decaying or perish. It does not perish. That's important. So we are saying that multi-purpose cold storage. In a cold storage, we can keep carrot or cabbage or cauliflower or tomatoes. So that multi-purpose cold storage. And big portion of our project, future investment plan will be with cold storage and also vehicle with multi-purpose cooling facilities, both in train and also motors, automobile. Third, we have said that climate smart agriculture. We have to invest money for evolving varieties which can be grown in stress condition. Stress condition, I mean in high temperature, in saline condition, in submerged, can survive, can withstand in submergence condition, and so on. So stress resistant variety, so that we can adapt with the climate change, global warming, rise of seawater. So that's an important area that will be our future focus. Third, we said the efficient use of water. There is always a scarcity of water. How we can use buried pipe and other improved irrigation system, water management. We know Israel, they have the highest efficiency level of irrigation water. We can learn a lot from them. How we can use our water. It's very expensive, Earlier it constitutes about 30% of the total cost. But these days cost of labor has gone up, so but still is very high. So water would be an important area. So these 4 areas, as I mentioned, those are important areas where we are expecting investment, and already we have earmarked domestic fund, and also we are expecting support assistance from our development partner. And some of the development partners, they are showing interest. But before I conclude, I would say that we will need for smart agriculture, smart people, smart stakeholders, smart entrepreneurs. That's most important. We have identified few commodities also. Mango, we see a lot of prospect for mango export. Tomato, we different. This hotel, 5-star hotel, they don't use local tomato. They import paste, tomato paste. So we have to know, our agronomist, our horticulture scientist, they should know that their tomato is not good for using in this hotel. So we have to have a variety that can be used in 5-star hotels. Then potato. Our climatic condition excellent for growing potato. This year, just yesterday I heard from our field worker that they got 50 tons per ton. 50 tons per hectare. 50 tons in Bogura. You can imagine. Then it's 140 or 50 months in a bigha. While we were kid, we saw 6-7 months per bigha. But in 50 ton, he got it in his land. Easily you can get 40 tons. We have taken policies. We opened the bringing good varieties from abroad and cultivate, try here and cultivate. That's helping, and it has created a lot of enthusiasm among entrepreneurs, among our farmers, and they are saying now we can compete at global market with Egypt, Turkey, Pakistan, India. So we got very good variety, and we are expecting in next 2-3 years we will be major competitors. I had a meeting yesterday with Kellogg. They are planning to take 10,000 tons of flake from Bangladesh for their Pringle factory in Malaysia. So I can tell you many success stories, many stories of potentiality and prospect. There is no end of it. But how we lead it, we need a good leader to lead this sector. Minister is temporary position. I have another 5-6 months. New person will be coming. But somebody has to keep up and take those what we have initiated, take them forward. That's important. So good leader will be needed in agricultural sector with ideas, visions, and dynamism. How you can help? Let me tell you my story, how I try to help them. You know, one guy called me from Sripur, Gazipur. They do farming, modern farming. They said that they have planned to grow tulip, and they have a contract with Netherlands to buy birds. But he cannot open LC. Bank is not giving him them dollars. They said they cannot open LC. I was in cabinet. I raised it in the cabinet. The one importer, he does not need much dollar, but he cannot open LC. How come? Then some of my colleagues in the cabinet, they said, at the moment we don't need tulip. We need food. So forget about tulip. You don't have to import tulip birds for growing here. Then Prime Minister seconded them, they joined the voice. I came to my office, I called that gentleman, the farmers. And whose bank you are dealing with? It's Ogroni. I called Ogroni MD. I said that they cannot open LC. Can you do it right now? To open LC in Gazipur on such branch. Then MD, since I am a senior minister, he thought he should do it. And he instructed his officers to open an LC. Well, I know that we discussed in the cabinet, but it's not a decision. And Prime Minister will not know it, that I have instructed. No, wait, I know it. Then, month ago, that farmer came with bouquet of tulip in my residence. I sent 3 or 4 of them to Prime Minister's house, Prime Minister's residence. And she was very happy seeing it. He says, put it in the main lobby so everybody can see it. The people are visitors coming and they're seeing it. And they are thinking it's artificial or synthetic or natural. It was so nice. Brilliant color, green leaf, deep green leaf, excellent. Then 5-6 days after Prime Minister called me, Dr. Raza, why did you get that tulip? I said one farmer from Gazipur, they gave us. Make an arrangement so that I can get some bouquet. I'll give it to Belgium Queen. She's coming out next 2-3 days. Then I gave the address and she managed to give bouquet to Belgium Queen. Let them see European that we can grow tulip in Bangladesh. And it was viral in the media, in that tulip. And yes, she was also amazing. Well, those are the prospects. We need smart agriculture. We need smart agriculture for smart Bangladesh. We want to elevate Bangladesh to a smart Bangladesh. That goes with Sonar Bangla, that goes with prosperous Bangladesh. Regarding insurance was not successful anywhere in the world in agriculture. There are a lot of problems. That's not very important. Then scattered land and small land, still we can address those problems. Now, making group farming, then we are calling Somoloy, synchronized farming, form a group of farmers, and together they can use combined harvesters and other heavy equipment. So mechanization will be done, it's in the process. You have to adjust with it. You have to adjust the equipment and you have to adjust your program and your year. So not time much left, I took already long time, but I am very pleased to be here. I know you will be coming up with some recommendations. DCCI, I hope they will keep touch with us. My door is open, at least for graduating our traditional agriculture to commercial agriculture, to upgrade our agriculture. Anytime you come, anytime you come, my door is open, even if in the late night, if it is with commercial agriculture. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers. Thank you for sharing the government's 4 areas of focus. As you rightly pointed out, to increase export of agricultural products, we need smart agriculture, and for that we need Government of Bangladesh support for automation.
সাংবাদিক বন্ধুরা বাংলায় কথা বলতে বলছিল, এটা তার বলা হয় নাই। হ্যাঁ,
একটু বলে দেন।
একটু আমি বলে দিই,
একটু বলে দেন।
ওরা খুব কত কষ্ট করে আসছে তারা।
আপনারা সামনে আসতে চাইলে সামনে আসতে পারেন।
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে।
এই তো নাই, বোম একটা আছে বৈশাখী।
এইদিকে আছে সবগুলা।
একদমই সময়। ওই যেখানে ঢাকা চেম্বার অফ কমার্স অ্যান্ড ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজ আজকের যে সেমিনারটা করেছে আমি মনে করি খুবই যুগোপযোগী, এবং এটা আমাদের এই যে তরুণরা যারা এন্টারপ্রেনার্স হিসাবে আসছে, অনেক নতুন এন্টারপ্রেনার্স আসছে, তারা এরকম মডার্ন এই কৃষিতে দেখতে চায়, যার মাধ্যমে অনেক ইনকাম করা সম্ভব, এবং তারা করছে অলরেডি। কিছু কিছু এন্টারপ্রেনার্স তারা এক্সাম্পল সেট করেছে। আমি মনে করি এই ধরনের সেমিনারের মাধ্যমে এটা আরও অ্যাওয়ারনেস ক্রিয়েট হবে, এবং আমাদের যারা মেধাবী তরুণরা যুবকরা রয়েছে তারা কৃষিতে আসবে। কৃষি বলতে আমরা বোঝাতাম যে কৃষি হলো গামছা পরে থাকবে, কৃষি মানে হলো খালি পায়ে থাকবে, এরকম অবস্থা এখন আর নাই। কৃষি করে অনেক আয় করা সম্ভব। আমি সময় থাকলে আরও কিছু এক্সাম্পল দিতাম যে এত বেশি আয় করছে কৃষি থেকে, যেটি খুবই উৎসাহজনক। এবং আমি মনে করি ডিসিসিআই নানান কর্মসূচি নিয়ে তারা করে, এই কর্মসূচি নিয়ে তারা এগিয়ে আসবে। এবং আমরা আগামী দিনে আমরা বলছি যে কৃষিকে আধুনিক করার জন্য, বাংলাদেশের কৃষিকে আধুনিক করার জন্য আমরা মেকানাইজেশন প্রোগ্রাম করেছি, বায়োটেকনোলজিতে প্রজেক্ট আমরা নিয়েছি, টিস্যু কালচার, বায়োটেকনোলজি, ন্যানো টেকনোলজি এবং এডিটিং ইন ব্রিডিং, এগুলা মডার্ন যত জেনোমস এগুলো আমরা করছি, এবং ভবিষ্যতে এটা আরও অব্যাহত থাকবে। আপনারা দেখবেন আমরা একটা প্রজেক্ট আগামী 18 তারিখে একনেকে আসতেছে, বিশ্বব্যাংক এবং আরও আন্তর্জাতিক কিছু সংস্থা আছে, 7,000 কোটি টাকার প্রজেক্ট, এবং সেই প্রজেক্টে একদম মডার্ন যে আজকের যে সেমিনার, এই সেমিনারে যেটি বলা হয়েছে যে আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স, আইসিটি, এগুলোর ব্যবহার করে কীভাবে বাংলাদেশের কৃষিকে আধুনিক করা যায়, এবং আন্তর্জাতিক বিশ্বে আমরা কিভাবে আমাদের কৃষি পণ্য রপ্তানি করতে পারি, বোথ ফ্রেশ অ্যান্ড প্রসেস, প্রক্রিয়াজাত করে এবং ফ্রেশ আমার ভেজিটেবল এবং ফল এগুলো আমরা বিদেশে রপ্তানি করতে পারবো। আমরা যোগাযোগ করছি, মিনিস্ট্রি থেকে অনেক ইনিশিয়েটিভ নেওয়া হয়েছে, এবং ইনশাল্লাহ এই ধারা অব্যাহত থাকবে, এবং আধুনিক কৃষি বাংলাদেশে হবে, লাভজনক কৃষি হবে, কৃষকের সাধারণ মানুষের জীবনযাত্রার মান অনেক উন্নত হবে। আপনাদের সকলকে ধন্যবাদ।
এই পর্যায়ে তো আমাদের একটা ভোট অফ থ্যাঙ্কস থাকে, বাট যেহেতু এখন ইফতারের সময় আমরা এটা একটু ডিসপেন্স করছি। অ্যান্ড থ্যাংক ইউ টু আওয়ার কমিটি মেম্বার্স তাজওয়ার, রাশেদ and Saifullah for organizing such a beautiful seminar. Thank you very much. আমরা সবাই ইফতার করি।